So example 1.2.2, how not to choose a simple random sample. So remember, in a simple random sample, we need every object to have the exact same chance of being chosen. So let's say you want to choose 5 students out of a class of 20. So give some examples of samples that are not simple random samples. So let's say we were just to, choose the first 5 students in class that day. So this one, later students, students coming later, have no chance of being selected. So not every student has the exact same chance of being selected. Or let's say that we just choose 5 students in the front row. So again, students not in the front row not in the front row have no chance. Of being selected. So again, unlike the previous examples, like where we would have put every student's name in a hat and drew some names out, or using the random number generator, every student has the same chance of being chosen. And again, there's other examples we could list here too, but these just happen to be the first kind of 2 examples that came to my head of things that would not be simple random samples. Okay, but sometimes, and again, simple random samples is going to be our main focus for this particular course, but you should be aware that some other sampling techniques do exist. So sometimes we want to make sure that within our population that we do have objects of all of the different subpopulations that are in that group that we think might be answering our survey question differently. And so for a stratified sample, we're going to break the population into groups called strata. So you've probably heard the word stratified possibly before, like in talking about rocks, like stratified rocks and all the different layers. So now we're kind of thinking about the population and all of its different layers, or these different subgroups or strata that exist there. So we're going to break the population into groups called strata and then take a simple random sample from each strata. So you can see it still has this simple random sample-ness to it, because we're going to start by taking a larger group, we're going to break it into these smaller groups, and then still take a simple random sample from each of those strata. And then all of those simple random samples from each strata all together will give us our single sample for that particular problem. So for example, if you want to look at musical preference, you could divide the population into age groups and then conduct a simple random sample for each age group. So in this case, the strata would be the age groups. So age groups here would be the strata. Or if you want to calculate the average price of textbooks, you could divide the individuals into groups by major and then conduct simple random samples inside each group. Because we all know for certain majors, textbooks can be a lot more expensive than for others. So in this case, the majors are the strata for that example.